Hi, welcome to the Kick-Ass Moms podcast. On this episode, we'll be talking about mental health and motherhood. Motherhood is a fantastic thing of joy, but it comes with a lot of emotions, and it doesn't make you a bad mother. Today, we'll be talking about everything, the experiences that mothers go through, and how we can cope with these emotions when they come. We have a wonderful guest on our set today, Tinuke, who is also known as the therapist for moms, to dissect this topic through and through. Sit back, relax, don't change that dial. Welcome back. I'm sure you're excited to meet our guest and you can't wait. So, on my left today is Tinuke. For those who do not know you, can you just introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tinuke, and I am a therapist for moms. I'm a mom of two, and I live in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, amazing. When I first of all saw the title "Therapist for Moms," I was like, "Wow, interesting." Yeah, I mean, I've known you from when you used to share all your stories, different stories from moms and the experiences. And I saw the transition into the therapist for moms. Can you just tell us about that? How did you find yourself there and why for moms specifically?
Okay, so my journey started I think I'll just start from the beginning.
Okay.
So I got married in 2014, and you know how in Nigeria, when you have a baby, your wedding, everybody's like, "Oh, see you in 9 months. We'll see you in 9 months." And then I think that pressure made me want to have a baby immediately. So I got married November 2014, found out I was pregnant in February or March the next year. And I'm also happy, I think I even announced to everybody, only to miscarry in April. That miscarriage hit me in a way I can't explain. I was depressed. I locked myself indoors for 2 weeks. You know, it affected me in a way it shouldn't have. And looking back now, I think it was that pressure because I don't think I was even ready at the time. But yeah, I was really depressed. The doctor said to wait 3 months before trying again. I told my husband that having a baby is the only thing that can get me out of this place. So I got pregnant, thankfully, but I ended up with pregnancy anxiety because I kept feeling like this was going to happen again. So every day I woke up, I was expecting to see blood. That pregnancy was hard because there was so much anxiety. And then I had my baby and it just turned to postpartum depression. I had her thinking that this will fix everything. I didn't feel love for my daughter at first sight. I had her and I told them to please take her away. I just felt relief, that it was over. So this is how my journey to motherhood started and my interest in mental health.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people think that they just assume that once you have a baby, the baby comes out. Everything is all butterflies and when the baby when you now have a baby and you don't feel that way, it makes you feel like, okay, maybe I'm a bad mother. That's the whatever. So how was that for you when you realized that you were not feeling that excitement that you expected you were going to feel, and how did you feel then?
First, I felt guilty.
Okay.
I felt there was something wrong with me. Because you will see all these movies where they have their baby and they are counting fingers and toes. And I was that mother that said, "Oh, take her away. I need my space." So I felt guilty about that. I felt like there was something wrong with me. At this time, I didn't even know it was depression. So I just felt like there was something wrong with me. And we got home and I found myself overcompensating because I wasn't feeling anything. I genuinely did not feel love. It just felt like they've given you this child to take care of, make sure she's alive. So that was the first 4 months of motherhood for me. I was like a zombie. I didn't feel love. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel sadness. I just felt
Numb.
numb and guilt.
So at what point did you realize that this was depression?
Um, so I didn't go in for my 6-week appointment,
Okay.
and the hospital called and said, "Oh, you're supposed to come in." I said, "I think I'm fine. I don't need to come in." And then they asked me a couple of questions. There's like a screening test you can do for new moms.
Right. In
And so,
Nigeria?
no, I had my baby in the
Okay. Right. Okay.
US. So they did the whole screening thing and said, "Oh, this is indicative of postpartum depression."
When they gave a name to it, so how did your journey to like healing start from there? I mean, after they said, okay, this is postpartum depression. What was the next step? What did you have to do to start to feel better?
So that's a bit tricky because even though I knew there was a name to it, we came back and everybody around me was saying, "Oh, you're supposed to be grateful. Why are you feeling this way?" So it didn't help that I didn't feel my feelings were not validated. So I continued overcompensating, trying to pretend that I was fine, even though, so I didn't do anything at the time because, I came back almost as soon as I
Yes.
found out. So I know my husband tried. He must have been confused, but yeah, it was a while. I eventually started healing after she turned 1, actually. Because at that point, my husband was like, "You can't continue like this. You're not sleeping." She's lying down and I'm staring, "Make sure you wake up." Confirming that her heart was beating. It was hard. So she turned 1 and he said, "We need to do something about this." I was obsessive. I didn't agree for us to have a nanny. I had to do everything. It was just,
Yourself.
if you don't love her, then at least take care of her. So I was hard on myself. So she started school earlier than planned because he was like, "Okay, if she's not in the picture, maybe it'll help you find yourself." Journaling helped me. I'll say
Journaling.
journaling.
Amazing.
I started pouring out everything. And that's how the page started.
Okay. So John, when you talk about John, because now I know that there are people who might have had this experience, and it's common in Nigeria. People will say, there's nothing like depression. Nigerians don't go through depression. You can't even open your mouth and say it. Like, you should be
Exactly.
thankful. Aren't you the one looking for a child?
Exactly. There are people who are looking for children.
There are people who are looking for and they don't have you. You have now. You are
Yeah.
doing this. First of all, how did you find out that journaling would help? And how did it help you really practically?
So I spoke to a professional.
Right.
Even though I still didn't go in because there was that shame. I really,
stigma?
really felt exactly. How can you say you have a child and you're not connecting with the child? Are you saying you have depression? Oh, you're not praying enough? I'm Christian. And it's like you don't have enough faith if you experience that. So, but yeah, that's how I learned. I spoke to someone and learned that, okay, everything you're feeling, just try and empty yourself. So just process those emotions.
Yeah, I know that journaling is one thing that they always recommend that helps.
It does.
This is now, we've talked about postpartum depression, but there are a lot of other things that moms go through. Now that you're full-time, like, therapist for moms, you would have seen different types of issues, right? There are cases where moms talk about how, I lost myself. I didn't know who I
Very
was
common.
anymore.
Yeah.
There are cases where, there's rage, there's pent-up anger because you are there with the baby, your husband is getting up, going around, living his life. And you are bugged out with the baby, so you are angry, all of those kinds of different things.
Yeah.
How do, apart from journaling, what are the tools? I mean, I see some of the things you put out. What are the tools that women can use to get through this phase and find themselves again, find joy again?
So I would say it depends on what she's going through. Sometimes moms feel this way because of lack of support, for example. So sometimes it's that basic, getting support helps. Sometimes it's just about having her feelings validated. That she's struggling doesn't make her a bad mom, doesn't mean she's failing. So if people around her are able to validate her emotions and say, actually, it's not easy. Well, little things like that matter. So your environment matters, having support matters. But for her, journaling helps. Staying connected to herself. So if there was a music she liked in the past, for example, she can start listening that again. Take small pockets of time during the day, go for a walk. Just try and stay grounded and do things for herself. So that it's not sacrificial. Just try and do little things for
I want
herself.
to just reiterate, and it's because you ran through those things and they're very important. So
Yeah.
journaling,
Yeah.
connecting to herself again. So like as a woman, if there's something you love to do before, go back.
Just try.
Just try to
Yeah.
do maybe music that you liked. Then you said something about staying grounded.
Yeah.
So when you say stay grounded, what do you mean? Stay grounded.
Okay, so there are things you can do like deep breathing. Because most times these emotions come because her nervous system is dysregulated. And our nervous system is like what controls us. So if the emotions are like full to overflowing, that's what leads to rage.
I know about
for example.
full to overflowing. How do I relate to that? Oh my
Exactly.
God. Yes.
So if our nervous system is like boiling over, that's rage. Sometimes her nervous system may just decide to switch off. Let me protect her. And then she becomes numb. So something you can do is deep breathing. So there are deep breathing exercises. It sounds basic, but deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which is like the nerve in the body, and just tells your body that, oh, actually, you're safe. There's no danger. So if you breathe in for a count of 4, for example, and breathe out for 6, that actually helps your nervous system relax and tells it you are safe. So you just make sure you exhale longer than
you
inhaled. It just lets you know, I'm still in control, I'm safe. So those emotions like sort of calm down. Deep breathing helps.
When people talk about mental health, especially in Nigeria, and people say, oh, see a therapist, like you saw a professional, recommend, oh, see a therapist. People, stigmatize that. No, it's for mad people. I'm not mad. Are you trying to say I'm mad? Even though now people are beginning to warm up to this, they're beginning to understand that therapy is for everybody. I mean, it doesn't mean that you. So how, for mothers in particular, how has it, the different ones you've seen, how have they handled the stigma around seeing a professional? Like for you said you didn't even go in.
I didn't.
Yeah. So like, what has, for women who have come in, how have they handled that stigma to bring themselves to that point where they're like, you know what, I need to see a professional?
So do you know it still goes on, and many moms don't reach out until they are at that breaking point, until it's starting to affect their quality of life, until they are like bound and can't move on. That's when people reach out, and it shouldn't be. Once these feelings are persistent, then it's time to seek help. I was telling my client last week that the same way we pay attention to our physical health, or if you have malaria, you say, oh, I'm going to see the doctor, I'm doing tests, I'm getting anti-malaria. That's the kind of compassion our mental health needs. We don't have to wait until it's really debilitating, and because it's like the same thing. Our mental health, physical health are all connected. And you find that holding in all these emotions, not seeking help early, actually impacts our physical health at the end of the day. So you have people ending up with like chest pains or like high blood pressure, because it's all connected. So seeking help early helps. I guess also the name. So that's part of why I called myself the therapist
for moms.
So just make it softer and just make it easier to say, okay, just come for a chat. Let's know what's going on.
Another thing people talk about too is cost, right? So some people are actually they don't care about this and they know they need help, but they just would not reach out to a therapist because they believe that it's very expensive. Is this true or is this a myth?
I think it's relative, but yes, healthcare generally, is expensive. It's not cheap. So part of what I try to do, for example, now is have like group therapy sessions.
Yes, I see.
Because our situations are nearly the same. So like they're like pregnant women experiencing anxiety, and that helps with cost. But when you need help, and yeah.
When we talk about this, mental health for moms, and now that we are becoming aware and there's so much conversation around it, I think back to growing up. Our mothers in those days, always they They endured, but they had outlets. Like they were always, many mothers are always very angry. Small
True.
thing, you cannot touch them too much. You cannot hug them. Come on, get out of this place.
But
Come
that's
on. Because
true.
they were all going through that,
That's true.
But somehow they managed to somehow wing it. And they were having many children then.
They did.
My mother had 6. I cannot imagine. I have 3 now. My hair has plants like that. So, what has changed between them and now? Because then everybody looks like they were okay. Now that we marry and we're having children, we're thinking, you did not tell us so. You did not tell us the truth. We didn't know. Because everybody then was, poker faced. I'm fine. Even though they were snapping at you at home, shouting at you, hitting you, all of that. What changed over time, to make people now realize that this is not I should be. It can be better. We can get help.
I think awareness with social media and digital platforms. I think there's now more awareness, and we're connecting with other people more. Like when I had a miscarriage, for example, honestly, I thought I was the only person in the world that this has happened to.
Wow.
I just felt like, and then my mom said, "Oh, that happened to her. I shouldn't worry, I'll be fine." I said, "I don't feel
You never
fine."
used to talk about it in those days.
She said, "Do I know she had X
Wow.
number of?" I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "I didn't know this was a thing." And she said, "Oh, I shouldn't worry, I'll be fine." But I didn't feel fine. And then I started sharing my story online and then got the first message saying, "Oh, me too. This happened to me. What did you do?" So I think social media has really helped with
Because sometimes,
awareness.
I just tend to wonder, in those days, were they really fine?
They were not.
They were not.
They were not.
They were not. So the awareness, and like you said, you started talking about it on your page. People reached out. How prevalent is, this mental health? Depression generally. Because, there's a myth. We all believe that Nigeria, happy people, the happiest people in the world. Everybody's happy. We're all good.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No, it's not true. Because every day I'm receiving messages. On a good day,
Wow.
I'm getting 60 messages from moms. 60. That's on an average regular day, which shows moms are struggling. So many people are going through these things. And it's not just depression. There's like anxiety too. There's the numbness. There's the, what's wrong with me? I'm failing. So there's a whole spectrum of the mental health issues. But it's quite common. It's very prevalent.
So if there's someone out there who is still in that space of, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, what advice would you give to that person? What advice would you give to that person? It's just going through the motions. They are number and everything, but they're like, I'm okay. I don't need this. I don't need this.
I think I'll let her know that, because I think it starts with compassion. When you understand that this thing is not your fault, it's not about you, don't blame yourself. Motherhood is arguably one of the most immersive, transformative processes.
Say that again.
The human body goes through. Like childbirth alone. 1 hour, she's like pregnant, nurturing a baby, taking care of a baby. And then the next hour, the baby is out. Her hormones experience this crash. Like everything just changes in her body suddenly. You don't expect that your brain, your nervous system, everything will now automatically adjust. So it's normal. It's actually normal to struggle. Yes, for some, it goes into other things. It may last longer. But I want moms to know that it's normal to struggle.
So it's normal. If you're struggling, reach out. Get help. There's nothing, it doesn't mean you're a bad mom. Everybody, like she said, we've gone through, having a baby and all of that, becoming a mother, it changes a lot. Body, you're going through you've gone through so much. And you're doing amazing, Mom. So get help. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So follow her Therapist for Moms.
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Kick-Ass Moms podcast, where we've talked about the mental health, mothers and their mental health. Remember, if you're struggling, reach out. It doesn't make you a bad mom, and there's nothing wrong with you. You can get help. you can be better. I look forward to continuing these conversations with you online. Follow us on Kick-Ass Moms HQ. Cheers. Bye.